How's it going, guys? Welcome back to a new transfer rumours and news update video here on Talking Wolves. Hope you guys are keeping well and safe, and apologies for sort of the lack of videos over the last week or so. The last video was the Francisco Trincao video, which I hope you guys enjoyed. Of course, a fantastic signing for the Wolves. And things have started to hot up very, very slightly towards the end of this week. Obviously, with England still in competition and so on, I've been a little bit busy sort of watching that, working, being busy, but hopefully from next week we should have a lot more videos, and of course Wolves should be seeing some more signings come and go once the European Championships finish. So we're going to be touching on all of that today. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe, because this is the #1 source for all your Wolves transfer rumours, updates and news. So let's kick off with the first one. Really is actually about the staff. Of course, Bruno Lage officially announced as the Wolves head coach a few weeks ago. We've not actually had any official correspondence on who his backroom staff are going to be, but we've sort of put two and two together, seen videos, seen images that have been released by the club and online, and with a little bit of help of other users on Twitter, who some have given me a nudge to let me know who certain people are. We've sort of got a picture now of who his backroom staff are. So this image was released most recently, and sort of from left to right here, we've got Alexandre Silva, who we believe is going to be a first-team coach at the club. He worked previously as the assistant to Bruno Lage at Benfica for both the B-side and the first team. Obviously, you've got Bruno Lage himself, Carlos Cachada, who is a fitness coach, previously worked at Nottingham Forest and Middlesbrough, and worked in the Middle East, I think with Bruno Lage. Luis Nascimento, who's actually Bruno Lage's brother, we believe he's going to be coming to the club as the assistant manager. Worked for many clubs in Portugal previously. And on this image as well, Johnny Conceição, who is, we believe, some sort of first-team analyst or possibly even scout, who again has previously worked at Benfica. The other one is Tony Roberts. He was the goalkeeping coach for the Welsh national team during Euro 2020. He's joined as well. He's featured pretty heavily on the videos that Wolves have released, obviously training up the likes of John Ruddy, Matthias Sarkic. I think Sondergaard was on there as well, wasn't he? So, although no official confirmation, we've got a pretty good indication now of who Bruno Lage's backroom staff are going to be. So then moving on to the transfer rumours and news, we'll kick off with Ruben Neves. It's gone a little bit quiet on this front until the last couple of days or so. Of course, Portugal being out of the European Championships for some time now. And it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with a couple of the Portuguese players. Rui Patricio, who we'll talk a little bit more about shortly. And then obviously Ruben Neves. They've had their breaks, they've had their time off now. And you'd expect very, very soon, probably in the next week or so, you'd expect them either to be back at Compton training or going to be meeting up with the squad as they go to Spain for their pre-season camp. But Ruben Neves, it'll be very interesting to see what happens with him. It's been very heavily touted and reported that he's expected to be one of the big names that could be for sale from Wolves this summer. Arsenal have been the main team that have been linked. It went quiet on that. But the link has sort of re-emerged this week. Arsenal's main target is Locatelli from Italy, but it sounds likely that he wants to hold out for Juventus. So Arsenal may have to revisit Ruben Neves. Now, it's said that Arsenal are reportedly negotiating with Wolves about Neves, but Wolves aren't going to let him go for cheap. It's going to have to be a pretty large fee for Wolves to consider selling him this summer, but there's definitely discussions there. And it was actually on a Fabrizio Romano live stream yesterday. He started streaming on Twitch, talking about the latest transfer news, rumours, getting other journalists on. And it was actually another journalist he had on yesterday. It was Pedro Sepulveda, who is a Portuguese journalist, talking about Ruben Neves, talking about his future, and saying that Wolves have actually lined up Sporting midfielder João Palhinha as Ruben Neves' replacement if he is to leave this summer. Apparently, Wolves have already held negotiations with Sporting about this. Of course, he was very heavily linked, not just this summer, but last year as well, after a very successful loan move at Braga. So Wolves apparently are likely to revisit that interest if Ruben Neves goes this summer. So that is definitely one to keep our eye on, I think, because Neves, there have been many rumours about his future and what's going to be happening there. So we'll keep tabs on that situation. But yesterday we finally had a confirmation of a couple of moves that have been in the works for a while. The first one being Rayan Ait-Nouri, the left back, has finally agreed a move to Wolves on a permanent basis. Wolves got a really decent deal out of this as well, I think. Of course, the initial option for Wolves to buy him was around 20 million euros. He went back to his parent club Angers in France. They really needed the money, so Wolves have brokered a deal worth about £9.5 million. But the French club Angers do have a 50% sell-on clause on that. But Wolves can buy that out in the future. So I think 9.5 million for Ait-Nouri is very decent business by Wolves. And going the other way is Ruben Vinagre. He's now left the club, albeit on loan at the moment, to Sporting, the current Portuguese champions, on loan. And they do have an option to buy. It's pretty unclear whether it's an option or obligation. I think it's one of those where it gets triggered after he makes a certain amount of appearances for the Portuguese club. But looking at his Instagram story, it's pretty clear that I don't think he's expecting to return to Molineux in the future. So Vinagre gone, best of luck to him, and Ait-Nouri in on a permanent deal, which I think a lot of fans are very satisfied with. Quite an interesting one cropped up yesterday as well regarding Kurt Zouma, the Chelsea defender. He obviously won the Champions League with the Blues at the end of last season. Wolves apparently do have an interest in Kurt Zouma and basically put themselves in a position to sign him. But at the moment, he rejected that move. So as it stands, it seems unlikely. It said that Zouma isn't currently interested in a move. A couple of big teams are interested in him as well. But yeah, Kurt Zouma, if this is legit and Wolves are putting themselves in a position to look at this calibre of player and look at signing this sort of player, I think that's very decent. And again, I think he would cost you at least about 30-40 million, you could say. So if Wolves genuinely do have an interest and are willing to spend that amount of money on a centre-back, I think it could be a very interesting couple of weeks. That story came from Julien Manard from Téléfoot in France, a pretty reputable paper over there. So very interesting to see what Wolves do, not just maybe with Zouma, but in the future with more high-profile centre-back signings. We'll go across to Rui Patricio now. Probably two of the worst kept secrets in football this summer is Rui Patricio going to Roma and Jose Sarr coming to Wolves from Olympiacos. It sounds like next week should be when this saga comes to an end. Patricio now, we didn't know, was he going to stay in Wolverhampton? Was he going to go to Roma? But it looks pretty likely now that he's going to be joining Jose Mourinho at Roma. It looks like around 11 million euros as the fee for the Wolves goalkeeper. And Jose Sarr, it looks pretty likely he's going to be the replacement coming from Olympiacos. Again, I'd expect these deals both to be done this week, again before Wolves travel to Spain the following week. You'd expect Jose Sarr, you'd expect Bruno Lage in general to try and have most of his squad back for then. I think maybe with the exception of probably Adama Traore due to his involvement with Spain, and Conor Cody obviously being in the Euros final. But Jose Sarr looks pretty likely he's going to be the replacement, and I'd expect both of those moves to be done by this time next week. But talking about Adama Traore as well, his future has been questioned again. This week it's Football Insider that have been speaking about Adama Traore, saying that Wolves have fielded inquiries from Liverpool. Liverpool, of course, have held an interest in Adama Traore previously, but they've said they will only pay up to around £25 million for him. Many fans think this is way too low a figure. I personally think it's too low as well. Wolves paid about £18 million for him anyway. When he was in the Championship, came up with us to the Premier League. We signed him that season. We got promoted. But I think this with the Neves thing as well. You've bought a player for £18 million. He's now got three full seasons worth of experience at Premier League level. As a player, he's matured and got better. And Does that mean he's only £6 or £7 million more? No, no chance. And I think, you know, he's worth more than that. I'd be asking for at least £35–40 million for Adama Traore. I don't know what you guys think. Same with Neves as well. I think we all knew or all thought we had a bargain signing this young lad for £15 million in the Championship. Smashed the Championship. I would have had him worth 30 million when we got promoted. Now he's got another 3 years worth of Premier League experience. We've got to be asking about 40–50 million at least for Neves as well. So, yeah, Liverpool linked with Adama. We've seen Barca linked with Adama, but that's gone quiet recently. Once the Euros is over again, I expect rumours to intensify for Adama Traore. And finally, Vitinha, we thought maybe his time at Wolves would officially come to an end. His loan spell was up at the end of last month. And we've seen him training with Porto. But reports from Portugal have suggested that Wolves have asked Porto for extra time to make their mind up on this decision. Porto need the money for UEFA financial fair play. They've asked UEFA if a deal goes through, if they can put that in last season's figures. So it'll be interesting. I think they've asked until about the 20th of this month. So in about 10 days or so, we're going to see if Wolves do want to trigger that purchase clause for Vitinha. But £20 million for Vitinha, if it's going to be £20 million, surely you'd maybe want to spend about another 10 million and get someone like João Palhinha, who we mentioned earlier. But if Wolves can broker a deal similar to the one that they did with Ait-Nouri for Vitinha, I think that would be more like it, more money well spent, I think. If you can get that sort of price for those sort of players, that would be phenomenal. But, guys, I think that is all for today. Loads of transfer news and rumours in today's video. Be sure to hit the like button down below. Fingers crossed England can get the job done tomorrow as well. And like I said earlier, if you've got any questions, let us know in the comment section down below. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys. I'll see you all very, very soon.